Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on my series on nakshatras today. And today's discussion is going to be on Swati Nakshatra, which is the 15th nakshatra. We did discuss the last nakshatra, the 14th nakshatra, which spanned a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes. Starting from 23 degrees and 20 minutes Virgo through 6 degrees and 40 minutes of Libra. So in Chitra, we saw that this nakshatra actually covered a distance, some distance in the zodiac sign of Virgo and some distance in the zodiac sign of Libra. However, here in the 15th nakshatra, Swati Nakshatra, which we'll be discussing today, the discussion will be on the 13 degrees and 20 minutes, which it covers in the entire zodiac sign of Libra. So there's no confusion here. It is in the zodiac sign of Libra, and which makes it very, very strong, or rather it'll make a very strong impact of the planet Venus here on Swati Nakshatra people. Why? Because the zodiac sign of Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. And as we know that when we talk about nakshatras, and I've been discussing this in my earlier videos as well, that normally the nakshatras are spread out over the entire zodiac sign of 360 degrees. And there are 9 planets which we mainly consider, and they are placed all over these nakshatras. But when we say that people who are born in Swati Nakshatra, or any nakshatra for that matter, in a generic way, we mean the placement of the planet Moon in that nakshatra. So today's discussion again will be on Swati Nakshatra, meaning which that if you open up your natal birth chart and see that your planet Moon is placed in the zodiac sign of Libra between 6 degrees and 40 minutes through 20 degrees and 20 minutes, which is the entire distance of the nakshatra of 13 degrees and 20 minutes. Then you're born in Swati Nakshatra. So please do not get confused with other planets being placed in other nakshatras. As a generic rule, when we discuss nakshatras, we discuss the planet Moon's placement. And why? Because, like I've already explained once again in my earlier videos, that the Moon has 27 wives, and they are represented through the 27 nakshatras. So when we discuss nakshatra, people born in a nakshatra, it's the planet Moon. So what are the characteristics of people who are born in Swati Nakshatra, the 15th nakshatra? Well, first of all, we did discuss that since the entire nakshatra is placed in the zodiac sign of Libra, which is ruled by the planet Venus, then Venus-like characteristics are going to be very profound for people born in this nakshatra. They will be sweet, they will be soft-spoken, they will be skilled in arts, and even otherwise, as far as the other characteristics are concerned, which may not be directly connected to the planet Venus, they'll be very virtuous, they'll be compassionate. Venus generally is not synonymous with compassion, it's more Moon. But here, the ancient scriptures, and by the way, I always keep mentioning here that all my videos are a direct reference to the ancient scriptures. So the ancient scriptures do mention that they will be virtuous, which is not a very Venus-like quality. So there are other qualities also which may not be Venus-like, other than the Venus-like qualities which people born in Swati Nakshatra possess. So they'll be virtuous, they'll be compassionate, sometimes they can be mild, sometimes they can be very quiet, and also they'd like to control or not show their passions and desires to the outside world. So even their passions are not known to people who meet with them or are in contact with them, rather. They'll appear as very quiet and mild, but internally they may be extremely passionate and full of desires. And why full of desires? Because the ruling planet here of the nakshatra is the planet Rahu, which represents desires and insatiable desires. Okay, skilled in trade because they're very intelligent. Once again, the ruling planet Rahu plays a great role here. And again, there's a slight contradiction here. They can be charitable and merciful here as well. So here there are a bundle of things here because of the planet Venus's influence. You know, they are skilled in arts, and they love art. They're sweet and soft spoken. However, the bundle of other characteristics is kind of mixed, you know, where they are shown as virtuous and compassionate, and at the same time quiet nature, but internally they are full of passions and desires, which is very Rahu like. And you know about their intelligence, which is given to them by Rahu, and again, you know, which is not Rahu like. So here again, we're discussing what does the symbol mean. First of all, let's discuss the planet Rahu. It's basically the influence of the planet Rahu, because the ruling planet of this nakshatra is Rahu, and the symbol of this nakshatra is coral, which represents strong intuition and psychic properties. Okay, and also another symbol which is represented is through a young sprout which is moving in the wind. Okay, a sprout as a, you know, the sprout which comes out of the ground and which is moving, constantly moving in the wind. That's also a symbol which is represented by the nakshatra Swati here. It is also represented as a priest. It is also represented as a sword. So this is a very interesting or kind of tricky nakshatra to understand, and I've already explained you why, because it's a bundle of different kind of characteristics which does not necessarily relate to one planet. Say for example, what we are discussing is the ruling planet is Rahu. All the characteristics are not represented by the planet Rahu. Okay, the animal symbol here is the male buffalo. Okay, and the nature of this nakshatra, as been described in the ancient scriptures, is deva or godlike. But we know that the ruling planet is Rahu, which is not godlike. So there's a contradiction here, and therefore the characteristics of people born in this nakshatra kind of mix. One very important thing which we have been discussing about nakshatras is who's the presiding deity, and which actually impacts the person to a great extent. And the presiding deity of people, well, of this nakshatra, and eventually it affects people born in this nakshatra, is Vayu, which is the god of wind. Okay, air, breath, or even prana. For people who do not know what prana is, it's actually the life force within us, which is also represented through Vayu or breath. Okay, so this is the presiding deity, and that will also have a major impact of people born in this nakshatra. Generally, these people are very, very independent minded. Okay, they would never ever like to stay in any kind of a confinement. They are people of free thoughts, and you know, they love to experiment things and experiment their thoughts. They're very, very extremely social people, and they like to be in the society, and at the same time they're very honest with strict morals. So once again, you know, there's a contradiction here. Try to understand. The ruling planet here is Rahu. At the same time, they're shown to be extremely honest. So there's a contradictory characteristic here. And they would also all have extreme desires, you know, like Rahu's insatiable desire, but at the same time they would be honest. They would not like to possess anybody else's wealth or steal from them. So you can kind of trust people who are born in Swati Nakshatra. People born in Swati Nakshatra will not like criticism at all, and so be very careful while dealing with people with Swati Nakshatra. You know, don't try to criticize them. They're very independent minded. They want to experiment things, but at the same time they do not like criticism at all. On the professional front, they kind of start to grow at the age of 25 onwards, and they do well. But other positive traits of people born in this nakshatra are very clever in trade and commerce. So you'll see very successful businessmen born in this nakshatra, like Bill Gates, for example. He's born in this nakshatra, and while their intelligence and independence and to be able to experiment their views is concerned, Sigmund Freud, the great psychologist, he was born in Swati Nakshatra. Mahatma Gandhi, very independent minded, he's the one who came up with the novel Unique. He pioneered in the idea of trying to get out the British from India through very, very unusual way, and that was the path of non-violence, which was never ever experimented anywhere in the world so far. It was Mahatma Gandhi who pioneered that, and he was extremely successful. So business skills, Bill Gates is one example. Independent thoughts and experimenting them, Sigmund Freud, Mahatma Gandhi, even Hillary Clinton, who is a woman of independent, strong woman of independent ideas, is born in this nakshatra. So here, once again, the positive traits of this nakshatra is very clever in trade and commerce, very truthful, very honest, however, at the same time, a little meek and quiet from the outside, appearing from the outside. So I would take it as a positive trait, because they're not loud and they do not like to boast of their achievements, but at the same time, and they care about others as well, but at the same time, extremely passionate from inside and extremely desirous. They are desirous, and that's what makes them extremely ambitious in life, which is a positive trait in today's day and age. They try to be very accurate. They do their homework well in whatever activity they indulge in, or they are involved in, rather. Uncorrupted, very friendly. They have a positive attitude, and very generous, and very active in spiritual organizations at times, you will see. So you'll see a lot of people in Swati Nakshatra being kind of spiritually oriented, or even religious sometimes, and have some kind of a philosophical thought. And like we saw in the case of Sigmund Freud, you cannot call him philosophical, but definitely try to experiment his ideas on psychology through writing books and trying to communicate his thoughts to the outside world, so as to say, but very independent. Now, going to the negative traits of people born in this nakshatra, they sometimes cross their limitations, cross boundaries. That's a very Rahu-like characteristic here. And sometimes they create huge debt because of expenses and their desires to go and achieve things which may be beyond what they feel they could do. Okay, they may feel that they can do a lot, and then sometimes they kind of cross over and overdo it, and that process they can create huge debts. Sometimes they can be very restless. Sometimes, although they do not like criticism, they can be critical for as far as other people are concerned. So that's a kind of a negative. Once you do not like criticism yourself, you do not go and criticize other people and find faults with other people. Sometimes they can be just too withdrawn and isolating, so that meekness and quietness quality of the positive trait which we just discussed can become a little negative if they can be too shy, or very meek, or withdrawn, isolating, secretive as well, because they hide their passions and even their sexual urges. They can be very, very secretive, which to some point it's good, but if you overdo it, it can be a kind of a negative. And in their desire to be charitable and generous and helpful to other people, they can also give away too much, which again can be related to their ability, or disability rather, to create huge debts, so as to say. And one very important negative aspect is they can be very hot-tempered as well. So we did discuss the positive and the negative traits, and as far as their profession is concerned, what areas they could be successful in a profession, they can, since we discussed that they're extremely skillful in trade and commerce, they can be extremely successful in business. You saw the example of Bill Gates, technology wise, he's very, very thorough, and he came up with a great operating system, Microsoft, and a lot of people can do that. They come up with great ideas and great products and great technologies, but they cannot convert their skills and technologies and their ideas into a profitable business venture, which we saw that how successfully Bill Gates did that. Because of their spiritual inclinations, they can be great yoga teachers. They can be priests as well because of their spiritual and religious pursuits or interests. They can get successful in legal professions as well because they're very thorough in their work. Travel industry they can excel in because of the influence of the planet Venus, because this nakshatra, as we discussed, is not spanning in 2 zodiac signs. It restricts itself to 1 zodiac sign of Libra, which is ruled by the planet Venus. So they can be good TV artists, they can be good in travel industry, anything related to Venus they can excel in. And once again, to remind you, their characteristics are a bundle of things, so they can excel in various different kinds of professions. They can be very versatile. They can be stockbrokers, they can be traders, they can be merchants, they can be independent business people. So they can do all kinds of things based on their general characteristics, which we discussed. They do not restrict themselves to just one profession, like a film profession or a TV artist or an artist or travel industry. They can be a variety of things they can do. Stockbrokers, like we discussed, merchants, different kinds of businesses. So very, very versatile people. So this was a little discussion of people born in nakshatra of Swati, and we discussed that this nakshatra spans between a distance of 6 degrees and 40 minutes through 20 degrees and 20 minutes in the zodiac sign of Libra. And in the meanwhile, I will recommend please subscribe to my channel and check out my website. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you with an interesting topic in Vedic astrology in my next session very soon. Goodbye.